Welcome back to Grab Her by the Mic, the podcast for women who need a lie down but keep going anyway. This week we're talking about the heat wave, travelling and packing for long trips with small kids, Byron Bay, the Housemaid movie, and somehow doing a full existential investigation on the Tooth Fairy. So if you're hot, tired, overpacked, or questioning childhood folklore for the first time in your life, you're in the right place. So let's get into recap and rosé, pour a glass of wine, spill about our weeks, and debrief about the chaos.
It's recap and rosé, the part where they relive their week like it was national news.
Do you have a glass of wine available?
I do. Do you?
No, I don't. Can you give me 1 second? I'll be right back.
Hold on, let me get my rosé. It's all the way over here.
Okay, what are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking I'm going to probably butcher this name, but it's called a Miraval Côte de Provence rosé.
Is it a French rosé?
No, it's from Campbelltown.
It's from Campbelltown. I am drinking 1-to-1 rosé from South Australia, which is notes of strawberry, rose petal, Turkish delight, and musk. And I will say it's delightful because I opened it last night while packing and it's now empty.
Oh, that's nice.
Trauma wine collection, so this would have been under $12 a bottle.
Fabulous. Mine's got notes of illumination. It'll ground you. It gives you heavenly, eternal feelings. It's like a light bath. It illuminates passion and breath work.
So your rosé is as woo-woo as you.
Yeah, it is. Oh my God, I love it.
Well, cheers. Cheers.
Yeah.
What? Oh, it's no comment.
Had to have it in a tumbler.
Well, obviously in different locations. I'm in the studio, which is a bit of a mess because my daughter was home with me yesterday while I was trying to work. She insisted she had a sore tummy. She insisted she would leave me alone and just lay on the couch or lay in bed all day while she was sick. But instead, now I've got dead butterflies all over my desk. Actual dead butterflies.
Where
I don't
from?
even know. She's a serial killer. She came home with them from the holiday care the other day. How was your week? You are in...
I'm in Byron Bay. My week's been good. I had a sort of Monday, Tuesday in Sydney before we left, and then we came up the coast. We drove up the coast on Wednesday. We had a really good run, no traffic. The kids are really good in the car. And yeah, we've just sort of landed and I've slowly unraveled this week into this little zen hen. Loving it. The weather's beautiful. It's not too hot here, which is really weird. Everyone's got this heat wave, but pretty much Queensland, and we're sort of close to the border here. So yeah, we're just beaching, markets, hanging out with the kids, yummy food, just having a really nice time. And bit of sun, bit of salt, and I feel really good. How's your week?
My week's good. It is bloody hot here. I don't even think that where we live, which is the Southern Highlands, I didn't think it gets hot. I thought it was a cooler climate. I'm not really a fan of any temperature other than around 21 degrees Celsius. I like tepid bath water temperature all the time. I don't want cold. I don't want hot. I want consistency. That's all I want. And today it was like 35 degrees. We have no aircon in our house and a lot of glass. So it's like we're in a fishbowl.
You're in a greenhouse.
In a greenhouse. We can't go upstairs. Downstairs is the coolest because it's pretty much like a dungeon basement concrete. Downstairs is getting hot in itself. So the other thing that I'm focused on this week is packing for 2 weeks away, which I always seem to overpack for. I don't know what the appropriate amount of packing is. It's almost like a pack just in case every single family member shits their pants 9 times while we're away. We do this trip every year. I still end up doing multiple loads of washing when I'm down there. I don't know how it happens. It just happens.
Is the goal not to do washing?
I don't mind doing washing. I pack washing powder, pegs. I pack all of that. I just think there's like, what if I want to wear this outfit? What if I want to wear this outfit? I'm going to buy a few more of these. Things always get worn. It's a lot of clothing for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Someone once said to me, pack what you want to unpack. If you don't want to unpack a whole lot of stuff, don't pack it.
I don't mind packing and unpacking.
Yeah, no, I don't. And I outfit planned this trip, tried to keep it capsule, and I still bought a suitcase with me. But I bought a suitcase so I could take home stuff as well. It's hard. It's really hard.
It's really hard. I mean, but honestly, we're driving, so it's not like we have limits for planes or anything like that. So I'm just going to, like YOLO, I'm going to bring all the stuff. I don't want to not have something that I wish I had. You're never going to regret overpacking.
No, I do. My husband makes a point every time. He's like, did you wear that when I'm putting it away? And I'm like, are you packing shaming me? Are you calling me out that I didn't wear that gown while we went to a caravan?
Does he pack
Don't
his own
call-
clothing?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Pat packs for everyone. He does all my packing and he does all my unpacking. Don't know how I got that guy, but I got that guy.
I don't know how you got him either.
Just hanging in there.
Just hanging in there. The other thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that you and I are looking into potentially using a proper studio for our records and even
Yeah.
outsourcing the editing so it doesn't take me all Saturday and half of Sunday to edit. So I'm
Yeah.
actually a little bit excited about that. We found a place locally that's maybe 5 minutes from our house.
So
And
good.
I'm just going to have to ask, can we install neon signs in there? Because
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
BYO sign.
what about the hours and hours of paint and everything that I used? I'm like, that's
Well,
okay. Let it go.
We can turn it into a health retreat, a little zen room.
Yeah.
Why
Doesn't
not?
matter. I think it's
I
such a
think
good
when
idea.
And do you remember in the episode when I was in New Zealand, you said to me, what's a goal? And I was like, just to have our own studio that we can just walk in, sit down and record. This was exciting. Not that it's come to fruition. We're in talks, basically.
Yeah, and we are
Trying
in
to make it
talks.
happen. Fun.
But that'll help with a lot of the goals of podcast and personal.
100% it will help. It'll be amazing.
I thought that what we could do is it could be a weekly ritual where we go and have dinner, plan out the episode, and then do the record. Early dinner, depending on what times they're open. Of course, they haven't come back to me yet. But I have driven past the location about 4 times.
Just like a stalker, like gone that
Yeah.
way. Gone that way.
Do you have anything else you want to catch up on in recap and rosé?
I think we're just both having a little bit of a chill week.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. Oh, I have another thing, parasites. So it turns out that I'm not sick. I most likely have a really bad parasite. I went to the doctor yesterday and he is very concerned. And so I spent the morning trying to shit into a little cup.
What sort of parasite?
I have no idea. I should have the results tonight. I go in there, I go, look, I'm pretty sure this is just the Wegovy. ChatGPT has told me this is typical Wegovy. But I said, I've been sick since Christmas Eve. I'm losing so much weight, which is great, but it's because I am not absorbing any nutrients. I'm not keeping anything in my body. I'm tired and I'm sick and I'm just wondering, I thought maybe I should check in. And he's like, that's not okay. I said, it's getting better, but, I feel like it's in line when I do the injection because I've gone up a dose in the Wegovy. I said, it just makes sense. He's like, no. He's so concerned. I'm like, I don't know, like, it's just that we'll go. But he's like, okay, here's what you need. I said, I'm going away. He's like, okay, so we need to do blood tests. You need to do a stool sample, and I'm going to mark it as urgent. I'm putting my mobile number on here. Please don't crank call me, but they need to call me with the results. As soon as you do the sample and the blood tests, start taking these antibiotics straight away. So he's giving me these antibiotics, and they make me so nauseous. Really intense.
Actually,
So, yeah.
that reminds me, I went to the dentist. I saw you that afternoon. This week, and they did an x-ray of my teeth just to see everything. Went to a new clinic, and as I came out, she was like, there's something up your nose. She's like, is there something up your nose? Have you got pain here? And I was like, no. Always. Like, I just want to cry. I've got a really bad tear duct there. I get weeps all the time, and so I get pain, and I push there quite often. Anyway, she was like, I think you really need to go and have a CAT scan. And I was like, why? She's like, well, it's not meant to be there, whatever it is. And I was like, oh my God, what's there? And that's when I drove to see you. And the whole time in the car, I spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
What is up my nose in my sinus cavity that's a big ball, basically sitting right
But did your
here.
brother-in-law come back to you?
So my brother-in-law, who was an ENT, I shouted out to him and said, I'm spiraling out of control. I'm going to be dead in a month. And he was like, no, you won't be dead. But you need to go and have a CAT scan to confirm what it is, if it's bone, if it's polyp, if it's muscular fragment, if it's anything. Anyway, then it occurred to me that it might be some cheek filler that is somehow
That's the best.
gone from here to here and is pushing on my tear duct and causing my tear duct to weep, but also got picked up with an x-ray. So I went to a lovely, beautiful doctor here in Byron Bay who's so holistic and like, kumbaya. And I was like, I think I've got filler up my nose. And he's like, why do you have filler up your nose? And I was like, well, and then I told him the story. So I actually go to confirm the substance on Tuesday in Byron Bay. I'm going to have a scan. So you're shitting yourself and I've got a foreign object. But then the kids at Christmas got bead kits. And I was like, Did I put a bead up my nose?
Or
What
did
if-
they put it up there when you were sleeping?
Yeah. I don't know. And then I went into spiral. Note to self, don't Google anything. Don't put anything to ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Do not self-diagnose. Not good.
Well, ChatGPT told me
Anyway.
that my symptoms were totally normal and my doctor paled when I told him about them.
What also made me laugh is when you said to me, let me look up your nose, and leant into my car, stretched my nostril, and had your phone torch like you were going to find the foreign object.
Outside my office as well. Just outside in the car park of my office.
Like, oh my God, like how stupid are we? Like, oh,
What's our head of people and culture doing out there looking up that lady's nose?
You like climbed in my car. It's like, you know, when you see a pimple and you're like, let me out the pimple. You're
Give
like,
it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me just get
Let
my
me
pimple
see if-
popper I carry with me everywhere.
Anyway, no, it's kind of here.
You know what I do have that I wish I had at the time is I have one of those stick things that you put in your ear with the camera on it. You know what you see on TikTok? We could have done that.
Oh, how fun would that be? Paddy's
Okay.
got one that goes down drains because he's a plumber. It's not
You
that
don't
little,
want that
but
one. Why don't you use the one that I have that's not open? Not the one he's used in people's toilets.
he's like, maybe. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay to just wait for the CAT scan, but thank you, everyone. Just thinking, what is it up there? So,
Oh, no, it's
I don't know.
probably cheek filler. That's the most logical thing. But if you get back and it hasn't resolved, I want to put that thing up your nose on
This
air.
sounds like we'll be on our way to emergency, being like, we did something really dumb.
You know those people
Again.
that goes like, what have you shoved up your asshole this time? It's a dolly.
I fell on the orange. Didn't mean to fall on the orange.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's move on. Let's get
Move
into
on.
the hyperfix. The hyperfix is the part of the podcast where we talk about what we've fixated on the past week and spiral publicly for entertainment.
Believe me, I know obsession, I invented it, but these two next level, it's the hyperfix.
Do you like to go first or would you like me to go first?
You can go first. Why don't you go first?
Okay, so I need to talk about something that completely hijacked my brain this week. Earlier in the week, Noah lost another tooth. So now he has gap and he has gap. So he looks like he's been on meth, something like that. I'm such a cool mum. So I've been letting them sleep in the same room occasionally because then I don't have to read them books. I can just let them go. They can go in there. It always ends up in a fight. I don't know why I do it, but I said, okay, go in there, pull the trundle out. Mabel, you sleep in with Noah. Noah gets his tooth out. Very excited. He brushes it individually for the tooth fairy and he puts it on his bedside table. If anyone has any little ears listening, now's the time to not listen to this, but my husband and I completely forgot about the tooth. So he woke up the next morning to Mabel at my bedside going, Mum, Noah's really upset. I said, what? Why? She went, oh, because the tooth fairy forgot him. I went, oh, that's so weird. Don't know about that. Before I go in, I can hear him. It's just so funny listening to kids talking when they don't know that people are listening to them. Mabel going, Noah, she just probably forgot. She'll come tomorrow. Don't worry, she's real. Don't worry. Noah's like, she's probably not real. It's probably just mum and dad doing it all. I wanted $4 so I could buy a Pokemon card at the rare Pokemon cards shop. I went in there and I went, what happened, buddy? And he went, oh, too sorry, like fucking bitch sort of thing. And I go, oh, she probably just got confused because Mabel's in your room. If she doesn't come
Quick
tomorrow
thinking.
night, we'll write her a letter and see what's going on. But, you know, I've never met her. I don't know what she's thinking, but maybe she got a little confused because your bedside table was on the other side. So the tooth was not by your pillow. The tooth was on the other side of the room. And then there were two kids in there and she probably freaked out. Anyway, that happened. It got sorted. Hilarious. But it hijacked my brain thinking about the tooth fairy and specifically, what do we tell the children that she does with the teeth? I instantly go, it's a fetish. That's the first thing I think. It's a fetish. We all just accept that this little fairy comes in, takes part of our body and then fucks off and gives us some money. Magical, possibly winged being sneaks into the house at night, collects human body parts, and we're like, that's totally normal. Here's $5 or $2 or whatever the going rate for a tooth is. My husband insists it's $2 or $1 and I think he's cheap, but whatever, the kids are like, oh my gosh, $1. So is she building a house with them? Is she planting them? She's not doing that. She's not returning it to nature. She's keeping them. But where and why and for what purpose? We tell our kids, put your tooth under the pillow and the fairy will take it. But Susan, where does she take it? Is she hoarding them? Is she crafting them? Is she running a tiny black market calcium exchange? Building a throne? And why is she
I don't
paying
know.
for them as well?
I don't know. It's Jeffrey Dahmer-y.
It is.
Like
It's the payment bounty, a procurement program, a bone dealer. It's a little transaction, but no one's explaining the supply chain. So, of course, I looked it up and I deep dived into where the hell does the tooth fairy actually come from. And I've got a quick history lesson for us. Because I like a little bit of history.
Really?
Yes.
Go for
This
it.
was my hyperfix of the week. I wanted to know if it was an ancient story or a more modern story, the tooth fairy. And it turns out that it's both, but it's mostly a combination of unhinged folklore throughout the years. So the OG idea of paying kids for teeth and the idea of rewarding a kid when they lose a teeth is really, really old. It comes from Northern Europe, Norse cultures, like Viking era. Something called a tooth fee that you give it to a kid, you give them some money or a little gift when they lose their first tooth. And it wasn't anything about a creature breaking into your house. It was more about a prize or a congratulations because your body's changing. So honestly, that's emotionally healthy. I've got no notes on that. Then we move into medieval Europe and then it gets weird. Medieval Europe gets involved and was like, what if witches use teeth to curse you? So people started burning teeth, burying teeth, hiding them, or just throwing them into places where they couldn't be found because apparently baby teeth were seen as powerful magical objects in medieval Europe. Which, yeah, okay, that explains why people are really intense about them, about this whole losing your teeth and the ritual about it. Then we move into what I'm going to call the mouse cinematic universe. In France, kids were told a little mouse, and I'm going to butcher this, or la petite souris, would take their teeth and leave a gift. And then in Spain and other Spanish-speaking countries, there's El Ratoncito Perez, which is also a mouse doing the same job, the same business model, take the teeth, give a gift. But why did they use a mouse? Because mice have teeth that never stop growing. Never. They symbolized strong adult teeth, good luck, and healthy mouths, which honestly is kind of sweet, but it's also a little bit like, here's a rodent to help you manage your dental transition. There's even an old French story about a fairy who turns into a mouse and starts stealing teeth from underneath pillows. So it's basically the origin story of today's tooth fairy with a little more shape-shifting involved. Now we get into the modern tooth fairy. So the tooth fairy as we know her today, the tiny winged being that sneaks into your house and leaves money, is actually pretty recent. Early 1900s America. She was basically invented to make losing teeth less scary, make kids feel rewarded instead of being freaked out, and actually turn a slightly traumatic bodily experience into a fun ritual, which is kind of lovely. But then someone decided to add home invasion to it, which I don't really know where that comes from. I couldn't find any explanation as to why that was mixed into the tooth fairy soup story. But what we've learned from my little rant is basically it started as a rite of passage, a luck ritual, your body is changing moment, somehow has evolved into a tiny, morally unregulated bone collector who operates solely at night. But again, what none of these stories told me is what is she doing with the teeth? No version explains whether she recycles them, returns them, destroys them, uses them for good. She just collects them. So it's either a niche hobby or deeply, deeply concerning.
I often then wonder what happens with the foreskin, with the circumcisions.
Oh, of course you went there.
Removing body parts, I don't know.
Yeah. We as parents go, put your teeth under the pillow, put your biological material under your head at night, and you will then be rewarded. And kids are like, cool. I love that for us. I'm not saying let's cancel the tooth fairy. I'm saying that she needs a backstory. She needs a mission statement. She needs a regulatory body. And I want to know if anyone, what do they tell their kids that the tooth fairy does with the teeth? Because right now I'm trying not to be dirty about it.
Yeah, I wonder what happens with all those teeth. I mean, I just know what I do with the teeth that I've had to collect.
Do you keep them?
Bye, teeth.
Chuck
I think
them?
it's weird. I chuck them. I think it's weird to keep them.
I did hear recently that collecting is a mindfulness practice. I don't know if that includes collecting body parts. I've got this lock of hair on my desk that I'm pretty sure is Mabel's, but might not be Mabel's. Don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, but what about all their umbilical cords? I have all the kids' umbilical cords.
I don't have that.
I don't have their teeth. I've got their umbilical cords. So weird. That is so weird. Are you finished your hype fix?
I'm done. That's it. My hyperfix was a deep dive into the history of the tooth fairy. And you're welcome, world.
So, yeah, just in case. So I went and saw The Housemaid at the movies.
The movie we were supposed to watch together, by the way.
Yeah, I ditched you. I'll watch it again. It was so good. The husband eventually gets pushed into the room, and as part of the punishment for him to be released, Sydney Sweeney's character Millie asks him
As I like to call
remove
her
a
loose
tooth.
boobs.
Oh my God, she's stunning. I don't care what anyone says. She's so gorgeous. Andrew
Mhm.
Winchester, just divine.
Right.
This it is based obviously on the book The Housemaid. It stars Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, and then you've got the actor that plays Atlas as the husband Andrew in the movie, and I can't remember his name, but I'll get Hannah to put it in the correctional. He is so charming. He is stunning. You cannot take your eyes off him this whole movie until he becomes the main character of the psychological part of the film. He comes in, he's charming, he's this surface level, super nice guy. He creates safe space for his child and for Millie and for his wife. So he's kind of trapping them, I guess, in the household. And then what happens from there is, obviously, if you've read the book, is he is the one that creates the most deception in the whole house. And then basically Millie and Nina turn against him. My hyperfix this week was the bodies of American actresses, how different they're put in these movies. So Nina, who's played by Amanda Seyfried, her role was to be this disheveled housewife, but in the first scene, you look at her and she's completely got it all together. We see nothing. She's not sexualized in any way throughout the whole movie. No close-ups, no kisses, no hugs, no nothing. And then you have Sydney Sweeney, who plays this character of the housemaid that comes in and decides to help this household out. And the minute she enters that movie, that very first scene, we're on a close-up of her bosom.
It's every Sydney Sweeney scene.
Every scene, her boobs are the main character. They are when she's cleaning the house and bending over, when she walks into the first scene, when she wakes up in her car in the first morning. This play-by-play that we get of Sydney Sweeney versus Amanda or Nina in this movie is so different. And then I often was wondering how Sydney would feel about this. But then I think
She plays into it.
she plays into it. Does this make her a lot of money? Like, is this all she's ever going to be seen for? And what happens when the boobs aren't good and her body's not the same? Does she become a nobody?
Well, she got really upset because the movie she did about the boxer recently, where she completely transformed her body, wasn't as well received as she had hoped. I wonder if, and I've not seen it, and I'm sure she was amazing in it, but I wonder if it is because she wasn't overly sexualized in that movie, and that's what everyone comes to expect from her. When you look at Euphoria, you look at the one she did with Glenn Powell, you look at her on red carpets in that naked dress, which is just boobs on display, she leans into that. I don't know why she does it. I would do it if I had her body as well, but that's what she gets the attention for.
Then I looked at all her roles, and then she's got the role that she played as the wife in The Handmaid's Tale in the very first season.
Does she? See, I don't remember her in that role at all.
And that was her breakthrough role.
I thought her breakthrough role was Euphoria.
This is a good point. What's the breakthrough role? Is it The Handmaid's Tale where she's in a headdress and very conservative outfit? Or is it her in Euphoria where we look at her and she's completely sexualized?
Was Euphoria first or was The Handmaid's Tale first?
Handmaid's Tale was first, 100%. If you look at the overall theme on the two movies or the two different types of roles that she's played, they're very different. And I was like, well, which one was her breakthrough? Which one actually was the better one? And I wonder if people will say Euphoria because that's where she became the most popular. But would she have gotten Euphoria without being in The Handmaid's Tale?
So she was in Sharp Objects, Handmaid's Tale, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood before Euphoria. She would have got recognised from Handmaid's Tale, but recognised probably from the industry versus the public.
Yeah, and then her public breakthrough would have been Euphoria because she was immediately sexualized in that.
Well, she was sexual.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, she is stunning. She's beautiful, and them as a couple in this movie, chef kiss. I guess it's just me. I was kind of thinking about her and her role and how she's come to be this icon.
I guess we could ask listeners what they know her from. I know her from Euphoria. That's what I would say is her most famous.
Probably same for me. That's when I really noticed her. But when I watched Euphoria, I remembered she was in The Handmaid's Tale.
I mean, she's amazing. Isn't she dating Scooter Braun?
Oh,
she's dating Scooter Braun. And then she did the jeans ad, and she never really addresses any controversy. She so does not give a shit about what people think.
And I love that about her, but sometimes you need to just say something. Yes. Anyway, that was my hyperfix. I just couldn't stop thinking about her and all her different roles and which one I loved her in. But yeah, it was a great movie. Should come and see it with me again.
I did love that book.
I do have a takeaway from it though. Amanda Seyfried's lips in the whole movie are so dry. that I wonder if it was on purpose.
Probably.
And then the other thing I've been hyperfixing on, probably just more recent, but I'm currently obviously in Byron Bay. And there's a couple of things that the uniform of Byron Bay, if you get around with 3 things, tick, tick, tick. You must be a local, or you're living your Byron Bay wholesome, present, slower, more nature-driven life, well-balanced life. So there's 3 things you need. A pair of Blundstones.
And my kids have both of those after Christmas, so great.
You need a Rwanda basket. Now,
A
that
Rwanda
sounds...
basket?
Yeah, so you'll know what I'm saying when you look at it online, but it's basically a basket that's made from overseas. Usually it's sustainable, or there might be a village, in Rwanda, for say, who make these products, bring them over to these countries and sell them, and we send the money back. So basically you need to sport one of those. It has everything you need in it. You go to the markets, you go to the beach, you go to the shops. It's your go-to bag.
They look great, but they don't look like bags. They look like baskets to me, or bowls. Where do I find this product? What I'm looking at, there's no handles, so you'll have to send a link.
You just hook it under your arm. Homestead trad wife style.
But I'm saying I look up Rwanda basket and there are no handles on any of these. It just looks like a bowl. So you need to send a link so we can put it in the show notes so people know what you're talking about. Insert basket here.
More commonly known as a boho market basket.
Oh, yeah.
A Viva Live Frankie is the one that I have.
I'll put a link in the show notes. Very cute.
So
I could make that.
Blundstones basket and a pair of taupe, beige, or a white sunglass.
Okay, which you also have.
Do I?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a taupey coloured, pinky
Taupey.
beigey.
Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, yeah. There you go. So they're kind of like your 3 things that you need. And I had all of those before I came to Byron Bay. So I must be,
A
trending.
basic Byron bitch uniform.
It's it. That's all that everyone has it. And you must have kale hanging out one end and a schleek hanging out the other end, and some mushrooms. No death cap mushrooms.
No death caps.
Some fancy mushrooms. And yeah, that's kind of something I've been looking at. And so I've got some funny video of me walking around, stalking everyone and what their different types of baskets are and their different types of shoes. So I might put a little montage. But then, wait for it. When I was leaving the market this morning, a man had his baskets on a self-made trolley. A trolley, he'd made it himself, and he had all these sustainable baskets.
How do you know the trolley was self-made? Did you talk to him?
You could tell. I videoed it. I also have footage. He
get
may have
sued.
been wearing a Velcro sandal. Just so.
No.
That's illegal.
Do a post and send me the video so I can do it on the TikTok, because I don't think you know how to use TikTok.
Tiki-toki, no. No.
Tiki-toki,
I need some training.
I love it.
Yeah, funny.
Your excuse for everything is, I need some training on that. It's like, I got no training on anything.
I need some onboarding.
Perfect. Let me onboard you. I'd love to onboard you.
This would be good, see, when we get that man and that business to do all
Because I'll have
this.
all this time to show you how to do things. And you can look at me like this.
Can you show me that again?
Show me that again.
Just one more time. Just
Can
one
you
more
help
time.
me with my Chromebook? I don't understand. My HP.
What about this? How do I bookmark a page? I hate myself. Trust me. Don't worry. I wish I was more confident. I will be one day.
That's part of your resolutions, right?
Yeah.
So should we move into the side quest?
Side quest.
The side quest is the second half of the podcast where it's a little bit lighter, a bit more fun, a little bit more snack-sized, to finish off the podcast on a lighter note, depending on what we've spoken about in the Hyperfix, which was, to be honest, pretty much just bullshit today.
Sydney Sweeney's tits.
The Tooth Fairy. A horror story.
The Tooth Fairy. Oh, gosh. We've talked about fun things. This might mash up and be one of our best. You never know.
You never know. You've got a really good editor for the moment.
I'm trying to sack her so I can give her some time off.
Yes, she would like that.
These ladies cannot stay on topic for 5 seconds. This is the side quest.
I texted you. Have you done a side quest? I have. Yes, all sorted.
Oh, that was my hyperfix. I got confused.
Okay, well, luckily for you, I have prepared something that we can call the side quest this week.
I just found a piece of salami in my bra. Nice.
I'm just trying to see where it's going. Did it go in your mouth? Because you froze. Is it salami or is your nipple falling off?
I know, but I just don't remember eating. I had it for snack this afternoon. It's a bougie salami I bought. It was from the market.
Ew.
Anyway.
In your Rwanda bag.
Yeah. God, I was so on trend.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about for the side quest this week is something that is going to turn into a recurring segment. Do you know what I'm talking about? What is it?
It's our accountability for 2026.
Perfect. All right. I most likely was going to brand this segment before the day was done, which of course I have. This is called Resolutions Reality Check. So this is going to be something we do quickly, emphasis on quickly, every week.
Quick.
So welcome to Resolutions Reality Check. This is the segment where we check in on our 2026 resolutions and see how our intentions are holding up in the wild. It's been 1 week since we made some very earnest and hopeful commitments for 2026. Remembering on what we're checking in on, my personal goal was be happy, which is completely normal, not vague at all, and a very measurable goal. My podcast goal was to create community, more online, wide-reaching, pseudo-parasocial community. From memory, your personal goal was to level up, to grow emotionally, spiritually, and as a person. And your community goal was also to create community, but local edition. We're apparently building a small but gentle cult, correct?
That's it. Yeah.
All right, so to keep it quick and to be a weekly short check-in accountability session, we're going to rate how things are going week on week by using a very scientific scale. The options are smug, delusional, honoured in theory, or under investigation. So smug, killing it. Delusional, not killing it. Honoured in theory, mostly did it. Under investigation, need to work out what's going on. These are the only 4 emotional states I'm allowing going forward.
Okay.
For the check-in. Yep. Just for funsies. Starting this week, we're doing a live resolution check-in on our Instagram stories for people to follow along. You'll see us checking in, you'll witness it, you'll be invited to participate, reply, share, and gently but lovingly holding us accountable to our goals. Think encouragement, not court of law.
Okay.
I'll go first as an example. My resolution was to be happy. My January sort of goal was to set out what the next 11 months are going to look like of the year and what I'm going to do to make myself be happy. I'm going to rate that as under investigation because I've done absolutely nothing for it and I've still continued to stay up late and not get enough sleep.
Hannah, sleep is a requirement. Not a reward.
I understand, but I'm also going to accept the failure and resume without drama.
Good girl. Go girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm about to go on holidays and I'm going to, by next week, having a 12-step program, 12-month plan, whatever you want to call it, for that goal. The podcast goal of create community, I'm going to go delusional on that one because last week we had issues with our video. So I failed on getting any content for the socials. I'm not going to say fail. I'm just going to go, I didn't really put as much effort as I normally would have because I've been really busy at work. So it's a bit delusional this week because I didn't have the resources to be able to do that. Your turn.
In terms of my level up,
give it a rating. Smug, delusional, honoured in theory, or under investigation.
Yeah, I'm kind of between smug and delusional. The reason is I think I'm smug because I've had some really good moments this week, but I'm delusional because I think that as a person go, oh, I've done it, I don't have to do it again. That's my delusional. The purpose is to keep doing it or to keep growing. Like just that little bit doesn't make you a hero. Push yourself again. So I'm going to go delusional because I think if I give myself a little bit too much credit, I tap out. I think I've had a really, really good crack at it, but I think I can keep going.
So you wouldn't say honoured in theory because you've actually had a go?
I've had a go, but I haven't had the best go. For an example, I just haven't given it my all every day, all day. But in my head, because I've given it a go, that's making me feel pretty good. You need to give it more effort. And then my podcast goal is that I wanted to tap in and have some, parallel kind of relationships with other businesses in our community. This week, what I've been doing, and I'm going to go smug because it's not something I do. I've been looking at businesses in our community and looking at where they are in terms of their timeline and looking at what's new in our area in the Southern Highlands, what's new not necessarily in the Southern Highlands, like somewhere else that we could potentially tap into or start a relationship with. So for me to tap into the Southern Highlands area is my comfort zone, but for me to go out one step further, see who else is out there and what they're doing and doing some investigation is a way to push myself. And I felt really good about it because what I did was I created a plan only in my notes section of my phone with 3 things I really needed to get out of the research. I really needed to find out where they are in the terms of their business timeline, what their interests are and how they're growing their community, and a way that they see that community growing. And if our morals or our goals
Vibes.
align in that sense, the vibes align, then there's someone I can tap in with. And then I've also been taking screenshots of people commenting or saying, oh, you've got a podcast, and putting them in a section of my phone, because what that means to me is recognition. It's not recognition of how great I am and you're cool and you've done a great job and you guys should be. No, it's just someone's mentioned the podcast. And that's like my piggy bank of going, well, that person knows about us, but that person may know someone else who needs help or some sort of leverage in a business. So I'm kind of weaving a sort of a stitch or a little cobweb of trying to create those connections, which is not anything I've ever done before in my life.
No, it's great. You're putting your mind to it. I think it's good. And you're thinking outside of the box in the way that you're approaching it too. What I would like you to do is to share those screenshots with me, because that's actually receipts for my goal of building community, which was having someone respond to episodes.
What I'm also doing is when they're saying they're listening, I'm asking what was their favorite part. It's all good and well that people say, I listened, but what'd you listen to? Which did you like? What'd you think? Did you hate it? That's what I've been asking too. So I've got all those, I'll send them to you. If someone goes, oh, well, that person, someone's liked it, maybe I'll like it. But this is probably a reminder for everyone who does listen to follow the show, because
that's how Spotify will push us into the face of other people. If we're not getting people engaging with the show or listening or downloading within the first 24 to 48 hours, it doesn't really do much for us as far as reach. Love it.
Shout out to us, follow us,
rate
on all
the
of
show,
our platforms.
But only if you're rating it positively. We don't want to see any negative feedback. We want to hide our head in pillows.
We want to smug the shit out of this show, so...
Yeah, smug the shit out of it. Okay, so as far as resolutions reality check, we'll do this every week. So we'll check in next week to review what moved forward, what stayed the same, and what we may have lovingly rebranded, which I'm hoping we don't do. I hope we stick to these goals. Anything else from you this episode, or do you want me to wrap up with a manifest?
I think wrap up with a manifest, maybe that we can manifest that both of us get some good results in the next couple of days for our medical ailments.
Yeah, that would be good. Manifest.
Weekly manifest. Great. They're doing motivational speeches yet again.
Let's do it.
This week we accept the heat but refuse to let it win. We pack for big trips with small kids and call it a logistical triumph. We go to Byron Bay and pretend we're relaxed until it becomes true. We let the Tooth Fairy keep her mysteries and focus on bigger things, and we agree that watching The Housemaid basically counts as quality downtime. That's the manifest. Go forth and survive.
This is Grab It by the Mic.
That's it for this week's episode. If you like today's chaos, sure you follow or subscribe wherever you're listening so you don't miss an episode. Come hang out with us on Instagram, jump into the comments, reply to our stories, and tell us what you want us to talk about next week. We actually read them and we're very easily influenced. Share this episode with a friend who's overheating, overpacking, or questioning the Tooth Fairy. And we'll see you next Tuesday for more life admin, poor decisions, and absolutely unnecessary overthinking. Bye.
Bye.
Chaos Correctional. We have a situation, a very serious situation. They were wrong. Again.
All right, Chaos Correctional time, aka the part of the podcast where we correct things we said with confidence and then immediately had to Google so we don't accidentally start a rumor, a cult, or a lawsuit. First up, our comment that the Tooth Fairy is very Dahmery. When we compared the Tooth Fairy to Jeffrey Dahmer, we were not comparing anything about harm, violence, crime, motives, or literally anything normal people mean when they say his name. We meant one extremely narrow concept, the collection vibe. This character's whole job is taking and keeping human body parts thing. That's it. That's the entire overlap. One is real life evil. The other is children's folklore with deeply questionable logistics. Next up, I said on the pod that collecting is mindfulness now. So I want to clarify that before someone reports me to the wellness police. First of all, I did not mean collecting teeth is mindfulness. I meant collecting things in general. There isn't one single official authority that declared collecting is now a mindfulness practice. It's more a trend in wellness and psychology writing where collecting and gathering is framed as present moment, attention focusing, calming and mindfulness adjacent. Basically, slow hobbies, little objects being absorbed in a thing, not meditation, not a personality. I've put 2 references in the show notes so you can see I didn't make this up in a fugue state. Now, on to the housemaid. I can confirm that the husband, Andrew Winchester, is played by the beautiful man Brandon Skelmer. However, I could not find any credible source confirming that Amanda Seyfried's lips being dry as hell was an intentional character or makeup choice or some kind of deep symbolic decision, so the mystery remains. Now on to Sydney Sweeney. First up, her love life. Yes, major outlets, including People, are reporting that she's dating Scooter Braun, and that apparently started around September 2025. Second, I said she was angry about how her boxing movie was received. The film is Christy, about boxer Christy Martin. There was a lot of chatter about the reception, but reporting on Sydney's actual reaction frames her as proud of the work and the impact, not publicly mad about the reviews, so that one's on me. And finally, I also said that she doesn't address controversies, like that jeans ad, and I need to correct myself there too. On that American Eagle Great Jeans backlash, she did in fact address it in interviews, including saying her silence didn't help and clarifying that she's against hate and divisiveness. On relationship stuff though, she's not holding weekly press conferences about her dating life, so I was spiritually correct on that one. And that's it for Chaos Correctional. We now return you to your regularly scheduled nonsense. See you next Tuesday, and don't forget to comment, follow, and rate wherever you listen to your podcasts. Bye.